Do you know why some entrepreneurs keep growing और कुछ entrepreneurs same mistakes बार बार repeat करते रहते हैं? It's not always because one is more intelligent. It's not even about experience. Because let me ask you a slightly uncomfortable question. Do you really have 20 years of experience? Or do you have 1 year of experience repeated 20 times? There is a huge difference. And that difference is called debriefing. I repeat, debriefing. I strongly believe debriefing is the breakfast of champions. Today, let me share with you five simple questions that can convert your everyday experiences into powerful business lessons. So, what is debriefing? Hello, friends. Apurva here from Neer Nation. In business, we are constantly doing things orders, meetings, customer visits, product launches, machine installations, events, exhibitions, complaints, problems, सक्सेसेस एंड फेलियर्स बट एक प्रॉब्लम है हम एक एक्टिविटी खत्म करते हैं और इमीडिएटली नेक्स्ट एक्टिविटी पे चले जाते हैं मीटिंग खत्म नेक्स्ट मीटिंग एग्जीबिशन खत्म बैक टू ऑफिस मशीन ब्रेकडाउन सॉल्व हो गया स्टार्ट प्रोडक्शन कस्टमर कंप्लेंट क्लोज हो गई मूव ऑन बट वी फॉरगेट वन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेप we forget to extract the learnings. That is where debriefing comes in. Debriefing simply means stop, reflect, learn and improve. आपके साथ क्या हुआ उस एक्सपीरियंस से आपने क्या सीखा और नेक्स्ट टाइम क्या बेटर करोगे दैट्स इट नो कॉम्प्लिकेटेड मैनेजमेंट थियरी जस्ट 5 powerful questions. Question number 1, what happened? The first question sounds very simple. What happened? But here's the rule. Only facts, no judgment, no blame. For example, suppose your delivery was late. Don't say driver careless था. That is judgment. Say vehicle plant से 9 बजे की जगह 10:15 को निकला. That's the fact. Suppose production stopped. Don't say maintenance team useless है. Say filling machine 2 hours के लिए stop हुई because of sensor failure. Facts. Why is this important? Because the moment you start debriefing with blame, people become defensive. And when people become defensive, learning stops. So, question number 1, what actually happened? Now, question number 2, what worked well? This is one question most entrepreneurs forget. वो प्रॉब्लम ढूंढने की बहुत आदत है. What went wrong? Who made the mistake? Why did this happen? But when something goes well, we simply say, good job, and move on. Here is the mistake. Suppose you received a large order and your team dispatched it perfectly. What worked well? Maybe production planning was done one day earlier. Maybe raw material availability was checked. Maybe sales informed production properly. Maybe dispatch sequencing was better. Maybe one employee took ownership. Identify it. Because success also leaves clues. If you know what worked well, you can repeat it. And when you repeatedly do what works, it becomes a system. Question number 3, what worked less well? Notice my language. I don't like asking what failed. I prefer asking what worked less well. Why? Because language matters. What failed immediately sounds like a blame. But what worked less well creates curiosity. For example, exhibition में 500 visitors आए. Great. But only 20 leads properly capture हुए. So the exhibition was not a failure. Something simply worked less well. Maybe the lead capture system, maybe The form was complicated. Maybe nobody was assigned the responsibility. So now you have something specific to improve. In your plant, प्रोडक्शन अच्छा हुआ, क्वालिटी अच्छी थी, but dispatch late हुआ. Again, the entire day was not a failure. One part worked less well. Find that part, improve that part. Question number 4. What did you learn? Now comes the most important part. What did you learn? Experience by itself is not learning. Learning happens when you extract a lesson from the experience. Suppose a machine breaks down. The lesson should not be machine breakdown ho gaya. That's what happened. The learning may be we need a preventive maintenance checklist, or we need critical spare inventory, or operators need better training, or we need an escalation system. See the difference. Problem tells you what happened. Learnings tell you what needs to change. And here's my suggestion: write the learnings down. Don't trust your memory because business memory is very short. So document it. Put it in your SOP. Add it to your checklist. Train your peoples. Convert the learning into a system. Otherwise, you didn't learn, you only remembered for a few days. Now, question number 5. What did you learn about yourself? This is my favorite question and probably the most uncomfortable one. What did you learn about yourself? Because every business situation doesn't only teach you about your business, it teaches you about you. Maybe you realize I panic when sales go down. Maybe I avoid difficult conversations. Maybe I don't delegate. Maybe I take decisions too fast. Maybe I get defensive when someone questions my idea. Or maybe you discover something positive. I stay calm during a crisis. I'm actually good at negotiations. I enjoy teaching my team. I can solve problems under pressure. Business is a mirror. It constantly shows you what you are. But most of us are too busy to look into that mirror. This fifth question converts business experience into personal growth. And I strongly believe a business can only grow to the level its entrepreneur is willing to grow. Now, let's see practical examples of a bottling plant breakdown. Let's take one simple example. Your filling machine breaks down for 3 hours. Normally क्या होता है? मशीन रिपेयर हुई, प्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट, everyone happy. Move on. But let's debrief. Question 1, what happened? Machine filling machine stopped for 3 hours because the sensor failed. Question number 2, what worked well? Maintenance team identified the fault quickly. Supplier responded immediately. Question number 3, what worked less well? Critical spare sensor plant में available नहीं था. Question number 4, what did we learn? Critical electronic spares की inventory maintain करनी चाहिए. So now create a critical spare checklist. And question number 5, what did I learn about myself? Maybe I realize crisis में मैं मेंटेनेंस टीम को सपोर्ट करने के बजाय उन पे प्रेशर क्रिएट करता हूं. That's a leadership lesson. So what just happened? One machine down gave you 5 different learnings: technical learning, inventory learning, system learning, team learning, and personal learning. That is the power of debriefing. When should you debrief? You don't need to debrief everything, but definitely debriefing important events is very important. Customer complaints, machine breakdowns, big orders, product launches, exhibitions, important meetings, and new employee hiring. Also, major sales wins, major sales losses, projects, even successful events, and debrief as soon as possible. Because the longer you wait, the more details you forget. The 5 question debrief framework. So, next time something important happens in your business, take a notebook, take 10 minutes, and ask these 5 questions. What happened? What worked well? What worked less well? What did I learn? What did I learn about myself? That's it. 5 questions, 10 minutes. But over 1 year, imagine the learning you can accumulate. Remember, experience doesn't automatically make you wiser. Reflected experience does. आप 20 साल बिजनेस कर सकते हो और सेम मिस्टेक्स रिपीट कर सकते हो, और यू कैन लर्न समथिंग फ्रॉम एवरी कंप्लेंट, एवरी ब्रेकडाउन, एवरी कस्टमर, every employee, and every success and every failure. That's why I say debriefing is the breakfast of champions. Don't just collect experiences, extract the learnings. So now, if this video gave you one practical idea that you can use in your business, please like this video, share it with your team, and subscribe to Neer Nation Uni. Because here we don't just talk about building bigger businesses, we talk about building better businesses and better lives. Until next time, learn, grow, and lead. This is Apurva from Neer Nation. See you in the next video.